Welcome to today's meditation. Find a comfortable position and let your eyes close when you're ready. Before we begin, a brief reflection on today's theme. Lao Tzu wrote, "Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished." You've been trying so hard to be better, to get it right, to hold everything together. But the most alive moments in your life probably weren't the ones where you were pushing hardest. They were the ones where you forgot to try. A conversation that flowed without rehearsal. A walk where you stopped counting steps. A laugh that came before you decided to laugh. Effort has its place, but so does ease. Today, we practice not trying, not fixing, not becoming, just being what you already are. Let your body settle. Not by forcing relaxation, just by noticing where you already are. The weight of your hands, the pressure of the surface beneath you. Your breath is already happening. It was happening before you noticed it. It will keep happening after you stop paying attention. You don't have to manage it. For the next few minutes, you have no job, nothing to produce, nothing to fix. That might feel uncomfortable. That's fine too. Just sit with that discomfort like you'd sit with a friend who doesn't need you to say anything. Think about how much of your day is spent trying to say the right thing, trying to be productive, trying to stay on top of things, trying to be a good parent, a good partner, a good employee, trying to be calm, trying to be present. Even here, even now, some part of you is trying to meditate correctly. What if you stopped? Not stopped caring, not stopped living. Just stopped gripping so tightly. There's a difference between effort and forcing. A river doesn't force itself downstream. It just goes. It meets a rock and moves around it, not with frustration, not with a plan. It just responds. You've done this too. The best things you've ever said in a conversation weren't scripted. They just came out. The best decisions you've made weren't the ones you agonized over. They were the ones that felt obvious once you stopped overthinking. There's a version of you that doesn't need to rehearse, doesn't need to strategize every interaction. doesn't need to earn the right to exist. That version isn't something you build, it's something you uncover. Think about sleep. You can't force yourself to fall asleep. The harder you try, the more awake you become. Sleep comes when you stop trying to sleep, when you give up, when you stop watching yourself for signs of drowsiness. The same is true for almost everything that matters. Happiness, connection, meaning. These aren't things you achieve. They're things that happen when you stop blocking them. Consider how animals move. A cat stretching in a sunbeam. No warm-up routine. No flexibility goals. No comparison to how it stretched yesterday. It stretches because stretching feels right. And then it stops. There's no story about the stretch. No Instagram post about it. No journal entry analyzing what the stretch meant. It just happened, and then something else happened. That's effortless being. Doing what's in front of you, without the commentary, without the evaluation, without the constant grading of your own performance. When did you start grading yourself? Somewhere along the way, you picked up a scorecard. And you've been filling it in ever since. How well you handled that meeting. How patiently you spoke to your kids. How disciplined you were with food. How mindful you were during meditation. Always measuring, always falling short. Because the scorecard has no finish line. There's always another box to check. What if you put the scorecard down? Not forever, just for now. Just for these few minutes. Notice your shoulders right now. Are they holding something? Not weight, responsibility maybe. Readiness. As if your body is bracing for whatever comes next. What if nothing comes next? What if, just for now, there is no next? We spend so much energy becoming healthier, becoming wiser, becoming more spiritual. There's always a gap between who you are and who you think you should be. And you spend your whole life trying to close that gap. But what if the gap is the problem? not the distance, the idea that there should be one. A tree doesn't try to grow, it just grows. It doesn't compare itself to taller trees. It doesn't worry about growing in the wrong direction. It doesn't set growth goals for the quarter. It just does what it does, effortlessly, not because it's lazy, because effort was never required. Growth is its nature. Being is its nature. What is your nature? Not your role, not your resume, not the story you tell people at parties. Underneath all the performing, all the adjusting, all the managing of impressions, what's actually there? You might not know. That's honest. Most of us have been performing so long we've forgotten what's underneath. But it's still there. The way you laugh when no one's watching, the things you think about before sleep, the kindness you offer without calculating its return. That's not effort, that's you. Feel your breath again. Not to control it, just to appreciate that something in you knows exactly how to breathe. Without instruction, without practice, without self-improvement books. Your heart beats, your lungs fill, your wounds heal. None of that requires your supervision. What else might work better without your supervision? Maybe your relationships. The ones where you try hardest are often the most strained. The ones that feel easy aren't easy because the other person is easy. They're easy because you stopped performing. Maybe your creativity. The best ideas don't come from brainstorming sessions. They come in the shower, on a walk, in that half-awake state where your mind isn't trying to produce. Maybe your peace of mind. The harder you chase calm, the further it runs. But sit still long enough, stop chasing, and it finds you. There's a word in Chinese philosophy, Wu Wei. It translates roughly to non-doing, but that's misleading. It doesn't mean doing nothing. It means doing without forcing, acting without overthinking, moving without fighting the current. You've experienced this. Athletes call it flow. Musicians call it being in the pocket. Writers call it the words writing themselves. It's the same thing. You got out of your own way, and something deeper took over. That something is always available. It's not reserved for peak performance, not for special moments, not for people who meditate 4 hours a day. It's available right now, in this breath, in this ordinary moment. The only thing preventing it is the belief that you need to do something special to access it. Think about walking. When you first learned to walk, it took everything you had, every muscle, every ounce of concentration. Now you walk without thinking. Your body just knows. That's what effortless looks like from the outside. Not the absence of skill, the integration of it. The same is true for being yourself. You've been you for a long time. You're actually very good at it. You just forgot that you know how. Because somewhere along the way, someone told you that who you are isn't enough. So you started trying to be something else. And you've been trying ever since. But the effort of pretending is exhausting. You feel it at the end of the day. That deep tiredness that isn't about physical work. It's the tiredness of holding a mask in place, of filtering yourself, of being strategic about something that should be natural. What if the exhaustion isn't from doing too much? What if it's from performing too much? Let your hands rest. Feel their weight. These hands have been grasping all day, typing, holding, reaching, scrolling. Right now, they have nothing to hold, nothing to reach for. Let them be empty. Empty isn't lacking, it's spacious. There's a strange grief that comes with stopping. When you finally sit still, you might feel sadness. Not because something bad happened, but because you realize how long you've been running. How long you've been holding yourself to impossible standards. How exhausting it's been to be you. That sadness is real. Don't push it away. It's the sound of something softening, something old and tired finally being allowed to rest. You don't have to earn rest. You don't have to finish everything first. Rest isn't a reward for productivity. It's a basic need you've been ignoring. Just like being. Being isn't something you earn, it's something you are. This is what effortless means. Not passive, not lazy, not checked out. Aligned. Like water finding its level. Like a ball settling at the bottom of a bowl. You're not forcing anything into place. You're letting things find their place. Right now, in this moment, you are not broken. You don't need fixing. You don't need another habit, another book, another technique. You need less. Less interference with what's already working. Think about a child playing. No strategy, no optimization, no purpose beyond the moment. That's not something they learned. It's something they haven't yet unlearned. We spend the first 20 years of life learning to try harder, and the rest trying to remember how to stop. Here's something nobody tells you. You don't become a better person by trying harder. You become a better person by being more honest about who you already are. The patience you're trying to develop, it's already in you. You've shown it 1,000 times without thinking. The kindness you're trying to practice, you do it naturally when you're not performing. The calm you're trying to cultivate, it shows up every night when you finally stop and stare at the ceiling. You already have everything you're chasing. You just can't see it because you're too busy chasing. Sit with that for a moment. What you've been looking for has been looking out through your eyes this entire time. The peace you want, already here. The love you want, already here. The worthiness you want, never left. You don't have to believe that right now. You don't have to feel it as some deep truth. Just consider it as a possibility. That maybe, just maybe, the project of self-improvement has been solving a problem that doesn't exist. Not that growth is bad. Not that learning is pointless. but that the frantic, anxious, never enough quality of how you pursue it. That part might be optional. What if you could grow the way grass grows? Without urgency, without deadlines, without the feeling that you're running out of time to become who you're supposed to be. Notice your jaw. Is it clenched? Even slightly? That's effort you didn't choose. Your body holding on out of habit. You can let it go, or you can just notice it. Either way, the noticing itself is enough. Here's the paradox of this practice. You can't try to be effortless. The trying defeats the purpose. So what do? Nothing. Literally nothing. And when you catch yourself trying to do nothing correctly, you smile at that too. Because it's funny, really. The mind trying to optimize non-doing. Setting performance goals for surrender. Creating a productivity framework for letting go. That's just what minds do. Yours isn't broken for doing it. It's just very, very well trained. So let it spin. Let it plan and strategize and evaluate. And while it does all that, notice that you are still here. Still breathing, still sitting, still being, without trying. That's the thing about being. You can't fail at it. You've been doing it since you were born. You'll do it until you die. It's the one thing that requires zero effort. Everything else is extra. So here's what you take with you. Not a technique, not a mantra, not a new habit to install. Just a question. The next time you feel that familiar tightening, that urgency to fix, to improve, to optimize, ask yourself, what would happen if I didn't? What would happen if I just let this moment be ordinary? What would happen if I stopped trying to be someone and just was someone? The answer might surprise you. It usually does. As we begin to close, there's nothing to wrap up. no lesson to memorize, no technique to practice later. Just this. You sitting here, breathing, existing. Start to notice sounds around you. The room, the space. Let the world come back in, not as an interruption, as an invitation. Feel the surface beneath you again. Your hands, your feet, the edges of your body meeting the world. When you're ready, open your eyes. Slowly. And maybe, just for the next hour, stop trying so hard. Not because trying is wrong, because you're already enough without it. Not just in meditation, but in everything. Thank you for practicing with me today. See you next time, because meditation should be free.